Hey, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Can you hear me okay?
What's up? Yeah, I got you perfect.
I actually got you in my ears today.
Nice. How are you?
All right, let me get that fixed. Awesome. Awesome. I got you that eye appointment.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah. It is for May 12th at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Can you hold on? A point of frustration of mine is I always leave a pen on my shelf, and people always manage to find it and take it away. So I got to go in my room and grab a pen. You didn't take that pen, did you? No. I know. This is how it works. I get these stupid things by the box, so I always have a pen around, right? And there's just, honestly, this got even worse. This stupid thing came with a pen. It didn't last, but it's just so you always know where a pen is, right?
Yeah.
And
1 second. I think Byron's coming in. Hang on 1 second.
oh yeah, you be you. May 12th, right?
All right.
So
Yeah, so we've got May 12th at 8 a.m.
8 a.m.
I try to get you an earlier one, but or later time, but they said that's the latest they got.
I'll take whatever they got. I need that functionality.
Yeah.
So I called.
He was really cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I called on Friday, and because I don't have access to any of this information anymore, and I asked.
I can't hear you too good.
I called on Friday the apartment complex, and I said, "Hey, will you please call me back and let me know the amount of rent that is due, so I can get a check and pay you?" Because I don't have any of this information, right? They didn't call me back, so then I had Melissa call them. Hey, I'm facilitating this role for Mr. Hensley. I need to know what he owes so we can pay you. They called her this morning and said something like $2,800, and then said that they were going to call me, and they never called me. So I have the money to pay them, certainly not $2,800, but they have not been paid. I'm still trying to figure all this out because I need to know how much to pay them. And then I got arrested twice when I tried to pay them last time. So I got to figure out how to pay them without getting incarcerated.
Okay. So can you get a money order instead of going to the actual bank?
Yeah, for how much?
Let me pull up. I can pull up your payment.
And then whatever the late fee is, it's going to hit today.
$25. Let me pull it up for you. Let me pull it up for you. Because I know I have the thing. Oh, hey, why am I multitasking here? I'm looking for that. Do you want the mental health plan? I can get you in for tomorrow at 1 p.m.
I have an eviction hearing tomorrow.
At 10:30, right? So you want me to do? I probably do like a Thursday or Friday.
Just saying. Now, what are you talking about? You talking about starting therapy?
Yeah, at 1. But your eviction is at 10:30, right? So that might be cutting it close.
So the judge gave them 2 weeks to get proof to their allegations, right? I went after the 2 weeks on Thursday, which is the last day that they were open, right? And they said, oh, they just turned it in today after the 2 weeks, right? The hearing is scheduled to move forward on May 6th, and no, Mr. Hensley, we can't give you a copy of any of the information that they turned in. They're supposed to serve it to you, right? So then I go home, and they don't serve me, but they put a thing on my door that says it's time for my annual financial review.
They're doing all the...
Yeah, but the point is they're not doing anything that they're supposed to do. They're not returning any of my calls, and I have months of calls into them, right? They are, perpetuating this problem. This problem, by the way, that the VA caused and the police, affirmed. The police have submitted multiple documents to the apartment complex, and then the apartment complex submitted a document to the court saying that I'm a VA behavioral flag, and the VA knew that they were putting a risk into the apartment complex and didn't notify anybody. Well, here's the deal. I'm not a risk to anybody, and the VA's a piece of shit, and the VA is fucking up my life.
Oh, I understand. So they did not know you have a flag, but that is not anything that I can disclose to them.
I can go ahead and give you the written document that the apartment complex filled out and turned into the courts. So if you didn't do it, who did?
Oh, that says he had a flag? Well, I'm saying when you moved in.
I had a flag when I moved in.
Yeah, I know. So when you moved in, we didn't tell them when you were
No, but somebody from the VA has scared the shit out of them because the VA makes up boogie monsters and then goes around and tells children and women how scary I am, right? I need the VA to get their shit together, and respectfully, ma'am, I'm not including you in any of this. I need the VA to shut the fuck up and quit actively trying to ruin my goddamn life. You know what's gonna fucking happen if I get thrown out on the fucking streets? I have no choice but jail or the fucking hospital. And what do you think that does to my dog?
Exactly. Well, we're not gonna try not to get you evicted here. So, what time is court tomorrow? 10:30.
10:30.
Okay. 9:42 is what your rent is. Let me see how much the late fee is. Okay.
Okay.
I think it's 25.
Okay.
That's what all the other properties are. Let me just pull it up.
I'm really feeling like not paying them a late fee because they won't return calls so I can pay them in time.
That's true. Is it due today?
I don't know when it's due, but I feel, at this point, I just need to bring the check into the court.
Okay. I am going to write them right now, so I'm not ignoring you, okay? While I'm on the phone with you, I'm going to write both of them, letting them know that you're trying to pay.
No, just go ahead and let them know that I've been trying to communicate with them for absolute months, right? Their complete lack of communication has caused these problems, and then they have spent months harassing me, and now this is my 4th fucking eviction hearing, right? And then you know what happens on the 8th? I have to go to court because I did 5 days in jail for trying to pay my fucking rent, right? And now they want to prosecute me for trying to pay my fucking rent.
I'm writing them right now, okay?
Sorry for being so agitated. My passions are inflamed.
You're right.
That's all it is, ma'am.
I know.
And certainly it's not directed at you, ma'am.
Let me write to them right now, okay?
Yeah,
Just
you be you.
I'll checks and balances, just so we have it in writing, right?
I'll chill out. Yes, ma'am.
That way we get it in writing. And there's a Dropbox still there, right?
Yep. Yeah, there is, but I'll just hand it to him in front of the judge. Because here's the deal: if they're not taking my phone calls, who's going to say that they take my rent check? I don't trust any of them at this point. They're intentionally trying to set me up for failure. They intentionally didn't serve me any of the documentation, right? And they're utilizing an improper vehicle. Whatever they're trying to do, a summary eviction is not the correct vehicle to progress this forward in the courts.
All right, so I just sent them an email. We got your eye appointment set. I just want to make sure I'm not wasting your time and I got all your things you wanted. So we got, and then I talked to you, so I got 2 things on primary care. I got some good news for you. Okay. Primary care is trying to get back to me because they're trying to work it in. And they said they're going to let me know in the next couple of days. The one doctor was out, so that's okay. I talked to my supervisor, and she said, yes, I can go with you to the primary care appointment.
Yeah, well, that's the first time she's ever let up on your leash.
The police is going to be there, so per the flag. Again, this is not me, okay?
No.
I tell you this. It says police present, so I did advocate for you and what you know.
Yeah,
your
but
there, so I will be there at your primary care appointment.
You
if you still want that?
I definitely want that. I need that. But you understand that Tanya Jolly is the obstructionist that's caused most of these problems, right? So then you have to go to Jolly and genuflect and say, hey, do you mind if I do my job? Because this guy's in absolute crisis. And one of the main reasons he's here, Tanya, is because of you, right? Tanya, at the end of this, needs to be fired.
Sorry. They just wrote back. I got you a mental health appointment for the June 18th at 7 a.m.
Yeah, June 18th at 7. What do you mean, does that work? No, that doesn't work, but it is what it is, right? So we're going to deal with all this bullshit all the way up until June 18th when we have a hi, nice to meet you moment.
This is not primary care. This is going to be for mental health.
No, I'm well aware of what it is. I'm just saying.
Okay, sorry.
I'm just saying I got placed into this system on October 2nd when they did, this mental health assessment and tried to decide what was needed, right? So from October 2nd until June 18th might be my first therapy appointment, but you know what? They've screwed up like 4 others prior to it, so I still have no faith in the VA. But it's very interesting to me that a month and a half from now, they think this might be urgent enough that I can get the base level of therapy.
I reached out to someone else. I'm seeing what I can do, okay?
What time on June 18th?
7 a.m. for a BBC.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Is that video or is that
And then-
in person?
It's in video.
Cancel it. I'm not waiting a month and a half to talk to, cancel that. Not going to do it.
When I asked,
My last mental health assessment, the guy spent 20 minutes dealing with his wife, 10 minutes talking about how he's not a homosexual. And by the way, I recorded that whole thing, right? I recorded that whole thing because he explained to me why the VA was wrong about my prior diagnoses. And then off the cuff, he just goes, when I said, aren't you supposed to diagnose me with something? He's like, yeah, you're a narcissist. So I'm the beloved narcissist that just runs around helping too many people and now needs to be evicted from his apartment because this narcissist is too compassionate to the community in which he lives.
okay, I'll tell you, you don't want that one. Do you want me to see if I can get you community care? Because what I got from the supervisors is that I can't get you anything for mental health unless it's BBC.
Yeah, why is that?
Just what's in your flag, it's not coming from me.
Go ahead and write back that Mr. Hensley wants to know why all these punitive measures have been put in place to deny him the proper medical care that he so richly needs and deserves.
Did they send you, and I'm just asking this to make sure you got it, okay? Did they send you a copy of the flag?
No, I don't have anything. Now here's the deal.
Okay.
When I'm exacerbated, I'm illiterate, right? And that's well known in the courts. Nobody fucking read me my lease. Nobody fucking did anything. All this paperwork that supposedly goes to 18 different addresses and never shows up anywhere, right? The VA is just doing all this internal. I'm not even necessary for this process, right? They make shit up. They argue with each other. They give one diagnosis, then they contradict the other diagnosis. The VA is so utterly incompetent that we just need to sit there and find out why this is happening, what excuse that they can use to justify it. I have vocal outbursts, right? And it is so asinine to me that fucking Tanya Jolly sat there and said, if you have this same vocal outburst more than 10 times, then I'm going to have to take offense to it and kick you out, right? She gave me 10 times. No, there has never been any perceived act of violence on my part at all. I've been dealing with you since, the behavioral health center, right? We've had no issues, but Miss Jolly decides that she wants to interject herself into this, formulate her own quacked opinions, and then issue punitive measures against me to deny me the care that I so richly need and deserve, that I have fucking earned, and she's trying to hold my head underwater until I fucking drown.
Did you get the letter from me? Because I had.
No, I check the mail every day. Every day.
This would be back in January because I think we talked about it because mine said that we were going to have. I just want to make sure you're getting your mail.
No, I'm not getting my mail, and that's what the care provider was supposed to do, right? Or the caregiver,
Okay.
right? So Wayne was helping me with my mail. That's not happening, right? Well, Wayne's gone. I got Travis who's starting to help me, but there's piles of shit I got to go through, right? These were all symptoms of my condition. These were all things that I need help with. These were all things that the VA knew, and the VA is actively trying to destroy me.
Because the reason why I'm asking, right, is so that way if you never got your flag, I want to be able to explain your flag. Right?
Yeah.
I didn't put these measures in, but I want you to know what it is. And so I was under the assumption you received that flag and that notice.
No, I don't get shit.
Okay. So you never received it back in, I think it was sent out in January.
No, I never received it. Did you ever explain it to me?
No, I explained it that I was going to see you quarterly, but then that got changed.
Yeah, but you told me because I was doing so well, you were going to see me quarterly. Yeah, because I was doing so well. You remember when I said, holy shit, these conditions are coming on. I'm going to need extra care and services so this doesn't turn catastrophic. And Miss Jolly said, sure, the first thing we're going to do is cut your services in half and put all these limitations on you. That's because me being self-aware brought the problem to your attention prior to it becoming a problem. And Miss Jolly thought the best way to handle this is try to fucking punish it out of me.
I'm trying to find out when it was sent, but I think it was sent between when we saw you in January at the mental health clinic.
Yeah, you know what? It doesn't matter. It wasn't sent.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. The VA didn't notify me. My case manager didn't work through any of the issues. And her boss is preventing her from having any fucking contact with me.
I did.
Oh, what did you do?
We had to set up. I've been doing the VBCs because that's what.
No, what you told me was Tanya Jolly had something put in place that limited your ability to conduct, your professional duties with me.
It was the flag. So your flag. I could read you the flag. So your flag says, "Veteran is restricted to receiving care at the main campus where police are present. Veteran is only permitted to be on VA property for scheduled appointments no more than 30 minutes before or after, and emergency care only." Let me actually, hang on.
Yeah, but they're not saying why they did this. They're just saying the punitive measures that they're implementing.
I'm trying to find the no.
Yeah. It's the little boy that cried wolf.
That's what the flag was in place. So, of multiple threats to VA police and staff.
Yeah, there's been no multiple threats. All my interactions are recorded, and they need to prove it, right? There's been no acts of violence, and their interpretation of my condition is so fucking far off that all they're doing is inciting me until they get a response, right? Pick on the retarded kid until he acts retarded, and then kick the shit out of him. Fuck them! Fuck them!
I'm trying to find out where they. I sent one on the 21st saying
21st of what?
of our next appointment. So I sent one on January 21st of our next appointment, but I'm trying to see of where they sent theirs at.
God, I stayed in.
So do you want me to, side note, do you want me to cancel that BBC appointment for mental health?
Literally phoning it in a month and a half from now. Yeah, I don't need their half-ass efforts, to cause me further harm.
Do you want me to try to get you community care?
Without a doubt. So what happens is I need to get away from Tanya Jolly and the effects of her little boy crying wolf.
Okay, so do you want me to get community care so I can get it outside of the VA?
I tell you what.
VA?
What I want is in-person therapy, and if the VA is incompetent and cannot provide that service, then I need the VA to figure out how they can rectify their own incompetence.
I'm trying I'm trying to find the actual letter so I can read you the letter that was sent, so that way it makes more sense.
No, none of this makes sense. I don't give a shit about, Tanya Jolly and the shit that she fabricates. I don't care.
It's not from her.
Who's it from?
That's what I'm trying to pull it up here. Hang on one second. Oh, Byron just stepped in here, just so you know. He waved.
Byron, I'm a little passionate today. It's just escalated tones and language.
Yeah. He went like this.
All right. Well, dude, I'm pretty chill, but they got me so worked up. I'm in federal court on the 15th. I'm in municipal court on the 8th, and I'm in eviction court on the 6th. Not to mention, they're trying to throw me back into Washington State jail because of, the shit that's happening down here in Reno.
What's going on with the Washington jail?
Oh, I was convicted of a crime and I served the full sentence, and then it was overturned on appeal. So now they're treating it like it's a new crime. They put me on supervised release, and because Reno pulled me over and said I had a revoked driver's license, they want me reincarcerated in Washington for breaking laws in Reno. I went to Reno court. My driver's license isn't revoked. The judge looks at me and goes, "Oh, so don't worry about it. No harm, no foul." I said, "Your Honor, I was in jail for 5 days, had a medical emergency. They smashed my face in, and now you're telling me they had no legitimate reason to arrest me in the first place on this discretionary arrest." And then he turns around and says to me, "No harm, no foul." So then I order up the transcripts, meaning the video and the audio of the court proceedings. They only give me the audio, and they do it in a file that, I can't open up.
Okay. And Washington courts were the one that were going to do your psychiatric eval too, right?
So I can send you a video recording of my last hearing. He said that he had somebody set in place, right? Now he's given me no information. He's returned none of my calls, right? And I have no idea what's going on. The judge is like, "I don't want to do any more continuances." And I said, "Hey, Your Honor, I'm just looking for a fair trial. We're moving at the speed of your bureaucracy. And if all these court-appointed officers aren't doing their job, you're not going to be able to force me into a retrial because, once again, the court officers are failing to perform the functions of their duties."
Okay, so when's the next time that you have to get with them about all this?
I don't know. I can go back and watch that video hearing. I had a check-in today, so I called and checked in, and then I got something kicked back to me saying that my next check-in is like May 15th or 17th. All I have to do is just basically call them, but, the police pulling me over to see why I'm feeding homeless people and then doing a discretionary arrest that was never authorized in the first place, incarcerating me for, close to a week, and then telling me no harm, no foul, why the Sparks prosecutor booked 2 additional charges without consulting the victim, right? So now we have people coming into court trying to prosecute me on something that they didn't even want to participate in. But you know what?
So you just kind of have to stand by.
Yeah, so I go on the 8th because the attorney that's been assigned to me has never called me or returned my calls. I called the courts to let them know that, and they said, "Well, you know what? That's not unusual. You'll probably meet him for the first time in front of the judge." So how much effort do you think he's putting into my defense if the first time I'm ever going to meet or speak to this man is the day I'm in front of the judge?
Okay. So we'll wait on that one, and then tomorrow's the eviction one, and when is the VA one? On the 15th?
May 15th.
I just want to make sure I got my dates correct.
Yep.
And tomorrow's at 10:30, you said, right?
Yeah. You know what happened last time I was in court, in the federal court with the VA, same cop? The judge court ordered the VA to provide me the medical services that they were denying me. right? So I'm going to go back to court on the 15th and say, hey, even though those charges were dropped, the VA disregarded your court order and never offered me any services from the point that you ordered it all the way up until now. But I can demonstrate over 50 times that I've tried to communicate with the VA to get these services provided.
So I'm going to pull up the letter she's sending to me now, but I was told that it was given to you by the VA police at your appointment in January or early February.
Well,
Telling you about the fact that didn't happen? Okay.
Whether it happened or not, right, you're not going to have me transitioning between personalities and remembering any of this, right? That is well documented too, right? So you can't sit there and poke me and poke me and poke me and stir me with a stick and then say, oh, by the way, I know you can't read this, but here you go. Why don't you hold on to it while we take you upstairs? Get out of here. The VA's utter incompetence.
I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, because here's the deal. Everything those police officers do, there's body cam footage, right? Let's get the body cam footage because you know what? You know who the liar is? Not me. And by the way, the VA has earned their reputation, right? The VA has earned the reputations of utter incompetence for fucking decades. Nothing's changed.
Okay. I'm waiting for that. So 942 plus 25. So I would say 967. They haven't wrote me back, but $25 is the standard. Isn't that the standard for all Northern Nevada community housing? They can't charge more than that, I think, for a fee for a late rent.
Yeah, but if you try to pay them online to make it convenient for everybody, they'll charge you $30. It's cost savings to be late. It's ridiculous.
So I would say 967.
Okay.
And it shouldn't be late if you drop it in today. So
Well, no, it's gonna be in my hands.
Usually they say by the 5th.
I'll call them and let them know that it'll just be in court tomorrow. See if they'll answer the phone. I'll record that as well. You said 967.
Yeah, 967.
Okay.
See, I try to pull up the. What is that called? Jesus, what is that called when I give you a?
Hey, do me a favor. Do me a favor. As my case manager handling me during an eviction, will you please go ahead and write them an email saying that your client never received any of the documentation that they put forth towards to the state to have me evicted? He doesn't understand on what grounds they're trying to evict me because they've refused to communicate with me the entire time. I need something in writing from the VA to say, to demonstrate that the VA has a modicum of concern with what's going on with this veteran.
Well, I have as I'm working with you. So I've reached out to them asking, why, and they've said, and that you and I've had that conversation of what you've been written up for. So all these write-ups, I think, in my opinion, are accumulating, is what they have said.
All the write-ups came at one time. All the write-ups came at one time, right? So they hit me with retro write-ups and everything else. They refused to discuss any of it because none of it was a violation to begin with. And the things that were violations were justifiable. What?
Having unauthorized occupants in them.
As I said, go ahead and prove it. And second, I've had a caregiver the entire time, and the only reason that I've had any form of success in my housing is because of the services that I managed to provide for myself, while the VA went around. By the way, the VA is the one that canceled my therapy. I had a therapist, right? Al Hearn spoke to Dr. Bryan and Nation's Finest and said, please deny this veteran services. And Dr. Bryan said, I don't believe that to be, beneficial at all, but he was overruled, right? Now, keep in mind.
I was told in that situation, which I said to you, what I was told is that since you are no longer in BHC, that provider can no longer give services.
Yeah, that's what you were told, but that's not what it was. and I have Dr. Brian recorded explaining it to me. So when people lie to you, right, don't take that as fact, because keep in mind, I know that nobody believes me, so I record everything. I record everything. And you know what? They're all going to be held accountable. They're all going to be held accountable, because all this documentation that they're putting forth fraudulently is going to be investigated in one fashion or another. You guys cannot actively harm veterans and collect a paycheck with a clean conscience.
Okay, so this says that you're given to it. I'm just reading what it is, okay?
Yep.
On Tuesday, January 21st. But I want to, if it's all right, I want to read this to you just so you understand what your flag is, okay?
Sure.
Are you still there?
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost you. Okay, let me make sure you're still here.
You understand that flag was in place well prior to January.
Yes, but there was updates to your flag, so that's why I wanted, and I can send this back out to you, but it said that you were given to on the 17th. Again, like you said, you may or may not have gotten it, but if you'd like, I can send you another copy, so you have one for your records.
Email it to me. Email it to me.
2153 Prater Way, number 305.
Yeah, but email it to me.
Oh, email to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you know what happens with the email? It's there. It's never lost. You know, I can reference it. You go ahead and put it on a piece of paper. It finds its way into wherever paper goes.
All right, me.
Now, I have defined limitations that whether you guys choose to ignore them or not does not prevent the limitations from affecting my life, right?
Okay, so I'm just going to read to you what was updated on the 17th, okay?
Sure.
Okay, it says this healthcare system provides care to a large number of veterans, and maintaining a safe environment for patients, visitors, and staffs is important. Your behavior has not met acceptable standards based on several recent and ongoing threats to kill local and VA police, VA staff, and other community members. Per the Fed Regulations 38 CFR, VA may restrict the time, place, and manner of medical care to veterans who are disruptive or pose a risk for disruptive behavior. Accordingly, the following changes to your care are hereby in effect immediately. You are to receive services at VA Sierra Nevada Healthcare System main campus, dental clinic, and eye clinic in the presence of VA police. You are restricted from all of VA properties, North Campus, Clinical, Law, and Carson, all the CBOCs. You're to be on VA grounds only for scheduled appointments, official business, and emergency services no more than 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after. And then, hold on.
January 17th. I'll go back. I'm sure I have that on video.
Okay, it says veteran has a history of being verbally and physically aggressive towards staff.
Physically aggressive.
To kill police.
Physically aggressive. Yeah. Physically aggressive. Physically
Just
aggressive.
reading what the flag says. Okay?
Yeah, but here's the deal. All you're going to do is incite me. You go ahead and read it, and you put that up against any of my behaviors, right? Now, in any threats that were made, according to them, were done to police officers with body cams. I want all of this brought forward. What?
Mental health. I said you have made threats to mental health because you and I were on the phone call when you made threats to mental health, and I asked you, if you remember, if you were going to kill me, and you said no.
I'm not killing fucking anybody, and yeah, I run my mouth, right? Now, here's the deal.
Yeah.
You guys flip me fucking between personalities, and one is a trauma response, right? So basically, that one is going to do whatever is necessary to garner the attention needed to rectify the issues. Now, if all we've done in the meantime is fraudulent documentation, that can be brought forth, because this isn't about me. My life is dedicated to making sure the VA doesn't fuck up other veterans, right? I'm willing to lay my life down because you guys have allowed everything to be stripped from me, and you're trying to put me back in the fucking gutter again. So there's no value to my life. What?
No, and I understand. I said I'm not trying to do that. That's why I'm trying to read you your flag just so you know what was going on, because you said that you never received it.
No, I didn't receive it, and it's not accurate, and they have no proof to back up their allegations, and they operate with impunity. right?
Okay.
And 22 veterans kill themselves every day. And I keep on telling as many veterans as I meet, don't ever kill yourself without killing somebody else, because they don't care about you. But if you start killing other people, they might.
So I can, instead of reading the rest, I could just send it to you. And
Just send it to me. Just send it to me.
It does say the mental health and housing service appointments are to be scheduled for VDC only, but since there's going to be police presence at your primary care, I'm allowed to go to that one as well, which I can bring the paperwork for your person that you want to add on. And then, did he get his social security card?
No, that takes forever.
Okay. If he can get...
He's got a driver's license and he has a social security number. And if they can't figure this out, he can be placed in jail with the identification that he has, and he can be mandated to labor with the identification he has. You're just saying with all his government ID that's not sufficient.
I'm not. I'm just telling you what housing wants. So he has a driver's license, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So if he can go down to Social Security, if he just gets a letter saying that he tried for the social, that letter that you get because it does take, you're right, it does take 3 to 5 weeks to receive the card in the mail. So if he can go down and apply for it, we could use that letter to say that he's applying for it. But unfortunately, we'll have to have a Social Security card for him. I could write to housing again and see ways to get around that, but that is their policy. It's not the VA policy, it's the housing.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be what it'll be, and we'll do our best to move this process forward. I'm sorry it's taken you guys so long to get on board.
That's not. I have been on board 100%.
I know you have.
So
I know you have. But Miss Tanya Jolly was aware of this. Back in October?
That's when you denied wanting someone on there. We were going to try to put Leo on there, but you denied wanting him as a caregiver.
No, I didn't. That's recorded. But on top of that, Leo. Yeah, I have it recorded. Are you saying after the man tried to strangle me to death and I did 3 days in the hospital, I said he might not be a good choice?
No, all I'm saying is I brought the paperwork. You had asked for it. So at our next meeting, I brought the paperwork to add him on. And then you said not at this time because you guys had gotten into that fight and you did not want to add him. Yeah. I'm just letting you know that.
No, agreed. So because he didn't work out, that doesn't mean the role and function wasn't still necessary. So going from October until where we're at now in May, I'm glad that the VA has decided that they would continue to push forth that process.
But I've asked to add him, and like I said, when I asked a couple weeks ago, we said to add this guy in. So it's not the VA. Like,
no. Honestly, we had that conversation after it became an issue during the eviction process, right? But we should have fucking remedied a lot of this stuff prior to the eviction process. But we didn't have meetings. We didn't meet up because Miss Tanya Jolly was putting so much fucking criteria on it that it never happened. Right? Meet me in front of the ER with 3 police officers so we can discuss your mental health publicly in front of everybody else outside. Right? So I walked away from that one. Miss Tanya Jolly just going, hang up, disconnect because he told me that he doesn't respect me. Yeah, I don't respect her. Right? She's actively trying to harm me.
Okay, well, now we're trying to add him on. So I got a copy. You sent me the copy of the ID. Now we just need the Social Security card. So again, if he just goes and applies for it and send me that thing.
Are you hearing that? They need the documentation from you attempting to get a Social Security card.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Did they print out all right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then he does not have any bank or anything, no income, right?
Nope, no income, no bank. They can't raise my rent because of it.
I know. I understand. And then when we meet for your primary care appointment, which I'll let you know, they'll call you as well. We can sign these forms because housing will have the forms to sign to give to your doctor.
Okay.
And so will housing and the apartment complex.
Yeah. There was another problem that I had, and I don't remember what it is. I had it and I lost it. It'll come back to me. This is just a point of frustration, and we'll see how it plays out in court tomorrow. But as I said, I haven't submitted anything to the courts. They submitted a USB drive that they're denying me access to. And I'm just going to object to the proceedings. I have to stay calm. I have to stay calm. I don't know how to do this.
I've contacted housing also.
Oh, that's what I was going to tell you.
Last week about the paperwork that you said that you weren't going to sign till they call you, and so I'm waiting for a response on that.
Yeah.
But I told them that, you know, since we're working with the courts and stuff, that we should just hold off till tomorrow to see, you know, where we land.
Correct. Because I'm not going to sign paperwork, you know, confessing to an offense that I don't believe that I committed. And furthermore, even if I inadvertently committed these offenses, I called numerous times trying to discuss it with my apartment complex, right? Because there were certain needs that needed to be met that the VA was failing to meet, and I was forced to provide them for myself, right? Their absolute refusal to even discuss this might have perpetuated what they perceived to be a problem, right? This is a lack of communication on their part. And I need to know, if you don't mind, please, how many complexes this corporation commands. And
I'm not sure.
no, I need to know this, though. I need to know how many different apartment complexes they manage, right, or own. And I need to see their contract to accept government assistance, because there's certain conditions placed on their acceptance of financial aid. I need to understand. What?
Go ahead.
I need to
I'm
understand.
gonna say Northern Nevada Community Housing website might have it. I'm not sure offhand how many they have.
All right, so Northern Nevada Community Housing is who it is. Now, is
That's who they're dependent.
is that private or publicly owned, or is that a government entity?
No, that's a government. They get funds.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there a private nonprofit?
I don't know.
I don't know if you're there or not. You just went away.
You are the only participant in the conference.
I'm the only participant in the conference. And then I get hung up on.